So this is my second vlog. I had meant for them to be like in restaurants or other places than my home, which I hope is out of focus. Um, but I had this little adventure the other night, and I was gonna blog about it, and then I thought, there's enough stuff I can actually show and you can experience with me as I'm experiencing it, that maybe I should just vlog it instead. I'd been staying several nights in a row at my girlfriend's place down in Seattle. It was making it a lot easier for me to get through the end of the quarter because it saved me a lot of time in travel and in sleeping. Um, but because I hadn't really planned to be there as long as I ended up being there, I had to stop home and like take care of the cats and change some clothes out of my bag and things like that. So I was driving home at like 10 or so at night the other night, and or maybe like 9:30 or something like that. It was getting pretty dark. And I got to this kind of country road area near where this Pilchuck Creek um, bridge is on, I think it's Stanwood Bryant Road. I'm not sure. It's this sort of country road, like this two-lane paved road with no real houses or anything around for probably a good couple miles in either direction. And it's like a 45 mile an hour um, kind of space. So I'm going about that fast, and I see this car just stopped completely in the middle of the lane that I'm going in with the hazards on. And I was like, well, that's annoying, and I drove around it probably faster than I should have. But as soon as I came around the car, I saw that there was this woman standing there kind of partway in the street. And then I saw that there was this tiny dog in front of her, and I was like, oh God, oh no. Um, and I'm sure in the back of my head somewhere I was a little bit scared at the idea of getting out and doing anything to help because I hadn't shaved or put on any makeup that day. um, and this is Arlington, right? This is kind of like more the country. People are like more conservative out here, and if there's a place where I can safely walk around like that without any makeup and without really having shaved, maybe even that day, I don't remember, and dressed in the way that I dress, in a skirt and my cute jacket and stuff like that. Um, if there's a place where it's less safe to do that than Seattle, this would be one that I would consider to be like that. But I saw this tiny dog, and I don't think I even really consciously considered. Thank you. Any of this stuff, really? Okay. I don't think I really consciously considered any of that stuff. I just kind of, tiny dog, like kind of in the street, one person trying to keep the dog out of the street, like that's scary for everyone. So I pulled over and put my hazards on, and I just ran out of the car and started like going towards her so that I could help her keep this dog out of the road and maybe catch it. And I didn't know if it was her dog or a found animal or what at this point. But other cars were just streaking past. And they would see someone with their hazards on, and they would pull into the other lane and just not really slow down at all and just zip past. And it was probably not helping the dog stay too calm. And this woman was dressed all in black. So my coat was black, but I had a white top on. So I started backing towards her and putting my arms out and being like as large as possible and also as highly reflective, I hoped, as possible, so that people coming around the corner fast would have their headlights hit this big white spot instead of someone dressed all in black. So with her help and eventually her boyfriend or husband, I'm not sure what their relation is, she called him over as well, like once he'd parked the car at the little like fishing area where you can pull over and park, and was telling him to bring his jacket to try to net the dog basically. And I took my jacket off, and we tried to kind of corner this dog. And he was running down the street a little bit. The dog was, and he kind of collapsed on his front legs a couple of times. It was clear that he was injured or that his legs were like kind of malformed in some way or something. Um, but I was like running alongside him, and I'm in terrible shape. I'm in such bad shape. But I'm like running alongside him, like with this sort of like half crouched run with my jacket held alongside like a portable wall, to keep him from thinking that he can dart into the street and have him think that it's blocked. And ultimately, we got him trapped. The gentleman's name was Eric, and he threw his jacket down, and that kind of pushed the dog forward towards me more. And then I threw my jacket down and caught the dog in my jacket. And that's when the dog took a huge dump in my jacket, like you do. and we scooped up the dog, and that's the first time me and these other two people really started talking at all. Um, and so I kind of introduced myself, but we were also really just trying to figure out like, okay, well now what, you know? And what we decided to do was let the dog go with them because there was two of them in their car and just me in mine, so that they could have one person hold the dog. So I showed her how to hold the dog by its scruff, how to scruff him, and keep him safe, and also keep herself from being bit or anything like that. And I just let my jacket go with them, and they were like, "Yeah, we'll get the jacket back to you later," and we swapped numbers and stuff. And that was kind of it, you know. So I went and did some research on my own, like talking to my friend Lou from Emerald City Pet Rescue, and being like, "Hey, what should we do? Can you take this animal? And can we try to find the owner?" Because Lou has got a lot of social media through Emerald City Pet Rescue, and I'm trying to build up my social media. And I thought between the two of us, we can probably find this dog's owner. Um, but then the woman, her name is Jan, went ahead and also put up a Craigslist ad, which because she had the dog, you know, she could take pictures of him and stuff like that. Um, and before we really could do anything else, like we'd laid plans to, you know, I'd arranged to get the dog checked out and have it scanned for microchip in Linwood. And we ended up not having to do that because the owner saw Jan's Craigslist ad, and went and picked up the dog, and the dog had been scheduled for a surgery of some kind the next day. So it may be that we actually, um, I don't know if it was a life or death kind of surgery, um, but I imagine the dog would have uh, not been terribly likely to survive with how it was kind of like just wandering in and out of this road where people go very fast around these curves. And that was it. And the real heartwarming thing for me was not so much that we saved the dog. I mean, that was heartwarming, but I also kind of was, you know, once everything calmed down, I was like, what did I just do? You know, I was out in public with strangers in this like really conservative area with my my facial hair showing probably about like it is now. Um, and but I'd been received as well here by these two people as I'd been anywhere else. And when I talked to my girlfriend about it, she's like, you know, people who plainly love animals, that's a great equalizer. And even if somebody had been uncomfortable with the kind of girl I am, um, that kind of interaction would help them be less uncomfortable and be like, you know, this is something that we have in common, and make me seem like less alien or threatening. So Jan just dropped off the jacket here where I live, and she also gave me this card that I'm going to open with all of you, if I can do it with one hand. Let's see what it says. Thanks, many thanks, thank you, thank you, warmest thanks, thanks a lot, great song, thanks, thanks with an X, the way that the kids spell it. Oh my goodness, cash. I guess this is to help pay for my jacket getting clean. Just can't thank you enough. Your thoughtfulness was so appreciated. Hopefully this will cover the cleaning cost for your coat and a coffee, Eric and Jen. Oh my goodness. I don't understand what my life is at all, really, but it's kind of incredible.